Boop. So with this trial of getting back onto YouTube, getting more comfortable with the camera, coming to an end tomorrow, it kind of got me thinking about just the end in general, as in the end of the world or the end of humankind or mankind. Um, and how it seems that they're really it's unavoidable. Like my entire life, I have not been able to avoid people that I'm around talking about the world ending, and sometimes it's met with jubilation, as in like they're really excited about it. Sometimes it's meant as a way to move people towards action to maybe try and work together to stop it from happening. And sometimes sometimes it just doesn't make sense. Sometimes maybe there's something in that person's life where there's a comfort in knowing everybody will die, and so it's just a matter of like, yay, we're all gonna die, and we're all gonna die. So yeah, I'm somehow comforted in that. When I was growing up and all the way through my 20s, I was in a group of thinking and a belief system and stuff that was waiting for the world to end, in a sense, as in like your better days were going to be after you came, or after the world had ended. And it even had an even stranger little part to it, where it was a matter of the good people or the righteous people were not going to be here when the tragedy and all the awfulness happened and stuff. So it was actually a matter of somehow that was a better thing, that they lacked the responsibility for in a sense with the world ending, because they weren't going to have to deal with the pain and the suffering. They were just going to be gone. And that can definitely be a very, very toxic thinking, and I'm no longer in that. But it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, every day could be the end. Get ready. Every day it could be the end. And I think it did. I think that served two purposes. And yes, I think a lot of it is negative or bad. But one was just there's a very stoic belief as you wake up in the morning and you say, "This is my last day. Everything that I do it as if it were going to be my last day." As in, like give it value, give it meaning. Do what you're meant to do. So that's one of the things. I think the other thing though too is it has a way of vindicating or making you feel like you're being rewarded, that like something's better is coming after us. Something is needed to make us a better people, a better group, and so we need the world to end for that. And that kind of brings me into that second group and stuff too, where it's like, especially with the environment and stuff, is yes, it's very, very serious. It's something we need to work together to stave off, to limit, to mitigate the amount of damage, the amount of suffering coming our way through our choices. But I was having game night the other night at our house when the power was out, and I asked one of my housemates. We were talking about having kids, and if he wanted kids and stuff, and they had mentioned how they didn't want any kids because they really just want humanity to die and be done, because we are the scourge of the earth, and I had made a couple of comments about that, and I was just curious. Actually, I was just asking questions, and one of the things I had mentioned was, in the grand, long, big history scheme of things and stuff too, is I don't know if it really, I don't know if it matters. I mean, like the amount of choices and stuff, and so the idea that what comes after us is going to somehow be better or more caring or has morals or whatever it is, I think is not necessarily well formed, and that's fine. But at the same time, I'm not going to live that way. I'm going to live making choices, believing that the future can get better, that we can alleviate suffering, that we can learn from our mistakes and move forward. And that actually, it was interesting. I was with that tech conference that I was at a week ago. Is there was some talk about just the end happening because of the tech revolution, and technology and machine learning, and just that direction and stuff too. There's a lot of ways the world, or the world as we know it, can end. And it's actually a really great question if you're ever at a dinner party, is ask people, how do you think, or what is the what is the biggest likelihood, or what's the highest probability do you think of ending the world as we know it today? And I'm guessing you'll get a couple of different answers from that. But one of the things, really, what I was thinking about with this, and not trying to ramble too much, but I was thinking about how there's the big idea of being a prepper, being somebody who is hoarding defenses and munitions and foods and getting ready for just the savagery of mankind to turn back to this to turn back to a very primitive isn't the right word, but to a different time, to where all it is eat or be eaten type of mindset. And it's always about, if tragedy happens, if problems get bad enough and stuff, then people just, and I know they can. They don't have to, though. And I was thinking about the snowstorm that hit here in the area, and how I was constantly being asked if I needed a ride anywhere, a lift, which I thought was just great, while I'm walking out in the snow, even though I was out there on purpose. But people were being kind. They were looking out for other people. There were people who were pushing people out from the snow if they got stuck. There were people who brought over chainsaws to help each other out, scoop snow, check on neighbors just to make sure that they're okay. And I think those things are wonderful, and those things we need to be celebrated. The acts of kindness, and they need to be repeated and reminded. We need to be reminded of those things often, very, very often, about just the good-naturedness that is that can be found in humankind. And to me, I think that's what I'm hedging on. And yeah, I could be completely wrong, but at the same time, is I hope that if there is that much trouble coming our way, if the world is going to end, is that I'm still going to end banking on kindness and consideration and helping one another. I think that's the way we move forward. I think that's the way we're heading, and I think that's what we need to continue to remind ourselves of, is that our strength is in our unity. Our strength is in our helping each other. Our strength is in treating others the way we want to be treated, and having empathy and caring and being considerate. I love there's a Fred Rogers quote, Mr. Rogers quote, that I came across, and somebody had mentioned it with the big, I think it was like 100+ car. I think it was like 100+ car pile up in Wisconsin, and people were helping each other out when tragedy happens. But he said, he's quoted as saying, "When I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, 'Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping.'" So yeah, I think that's the encouragement that we need to hear, is we need to say there are those people who are willing to help. There are those people who are willing to care. And I think maybe, there's the hearing that and reminding ourselves that there are those people. But at the same time, you and me, we need to be those people. We need to be those helpers. We need to be the people who are willing to go out of our way to help our fellow man, woman, person in this world. And let's bank on that. Let's use that as our bunker, kindness and love and compassion, and move forward from there. So yeah, maybe the end of the world is happening. I mean, it will eventually. So whether it's on our watch or somebody else's, but we should feel fine. We should feel fine as long as we're working towards kindness and unity, and being willing to help one another out, just for the sake of being human, just for the sake of being human, being us and where we're at today. So hope you're doing well. You, me, tomorrow. Bye.